Раз, два, три. Проверка звука. Ух ты, ёпта. Раз, два, три. Проверка звука. Хорошо. Так, все слышно, все видно. Всех приветствую. Продолжаем играть Follett Столпы Земли. Третья книга начинаем. Жму продолжить. Глава 15 нас ждет. Хотя сейчас будет, наверное, какой-то пролог. Как это было обычно.
The White Ship. She was one of the fastest vessels that was ever built. The man who should be king of the English now, the son of King Henry, was on board when she sailed off. And with the prince there were 140 knights and many nobles, all on their way from Normandy to England. They say the ship hit the rocks, and then a fire broke out. Even before the White Ship had departed, the prince and his men had begun to drink and get violent. Monks that were meant to bless the voyage were then forced to disembark. Some say the ship had been cursed. The king's son and many of his family were pulled down into the Black Sea that night.
— 1142 год. То есть это спустя год.
Not only these monks, but also Stephen of Blois, the king's nephew, left the ship before it embarked. They say he got ill.
That old rumor.
The same Stephen who calls himself the king of the English now.
What? That cannot be a coincidence.
Yes, it can be. Of course he's king now. He survived. He is the king's nephew.
What do you think, my lord?
I think Stephen is a clever man. Clever enough to have his whole family perish. But why he would want to rule that god-forsaken rock, I will never understand.
What makes you say that? I love my country.
Then why are you leaving?
Well, because I want to see something new.
I'll tell you what you're going to see. A proper country, where people know how to behave.
What about you? Why are you leaving?
Ну, я так понимаю, она разыскивает. Я разыскиваю одного человека.
I'm looking for someone.
For who? I guess I should stay out of other people's business. Forgive me.
You English do talk a lot, don't you?
I just don't know how to feel about leaving my country for the first time. I mean, how should anyone feel?
Остается подождать и увидеть, что будет.
You'll see what happens.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just running away.
You should all get some rest. It will not be long now till we reach Cherbourg.
Thank the Lord. I can't wait to be back.
Что? Ведь это фамилия Джека. Окей. Так, я так понимаю, последний раз смотрим эту заставку. Блин, круто. Стильно вот это вот сделано все. Очень стилево. Книга 3. Око бури. Глава 15. Путешествие. Шербур, Нормандия.
In the
Блин,
late summer
Шербур?
of 1142, I had left my home country, England, for good.
Это же
My
фамилия
old
Джека.
life lay in shambles, as did my former home of Kingsbridge. Having failed both my friends and family, I had set out to find my baby's father, the man I still loved with all my heart, Jack Jackson. And so early one morning in July, I finally arrived on the shores of Normandy. With nothing on me but a pouch of coin and a young, curious face yet unnamed, who was just as unfamiliar to this new world as was I.
Белый корабль. Изучить. Крушение белого корабля. 1120 год. Один из самых быстрых кораблей того времени. Его капитаном был сын капитана Моры, того корабля, на котором Вильгельм Завоеватель вторгся в Англию в 1066 году. Как и его отец до него, он с радостью предложил свой корабль Генриху, возвращающемуся из нормандского порта Барфлер. Тому самому Генриху, что должен был стать королем Англии. Но, как и все несчастные, кто поднялся на борт того корабля, Генрих не пережил путешествия. Во тьме ночи корабль напоролся на камни, и на борту начался пожар. Корабль погрузился в морскую пучину, все вместе с большой частью королевской семьи. Стефан Блуаский также должен был быть на борту, но, как говорят, внезапное недомогание побудило его вместе с несколькими монахами сойти с корабля перед отплытием. Корабль. Утром я сел на первый же корабль и хотел уплыть как можно быстрее. Каменщик. Я узнаю эти инструменты. Он каменщик вроде Джека. Джек не каменщик, к сожалению. И не дам малышу им, пока не найду Джека.
You're still here?
Oh, it's you. I'm just trying to get my feet used to good solid ground again. The last bit of our voyage wasn't exactly my pint of ale.
Ты каменщик, да?
That hammer you're carrying, do you happen to be a mason?
Actually, I am. You have a keen eye, mistress.
I guess I just know a mason when I see one.
To be honest, I haven't been one long. Just finished my apprenticeship in Salisbury. Before that, I used to shear sheep with my parents, but I guess that wasn't really for me. Father still hates me for leaving, though.
Где каменщик может найти работу в этих краях?
What will you do to find work here as a mason?
Don't know. That's for me to find out. All I heard was that the wages are better over here.
So you'll just travel from town to town and look for employment?
Right. And I'll start in Lassay. A fellow mason told me about the abbey there. He said these Normans build their churches quite differently than we do back home. I need to see that with my own eyes. Maybe learn a thing or two.
Может, Джек отправился в аббатство Лессе. Взять. Много ли каменщиков отправляется в Лессе?
Do many masons go to Lassay?
I dunno. It's really just a tiny town. The mason who told me just happened to do some repairs there once. It's likely he told others as well.
Я тоже оставил прежнюю жизнь за спиной.
I left my old life as well.
Scary, isn't it? To start off fresh and all that.
Well, you definitely sound more excited than scared.
Oh, I am excited. Wouldn't anyone be?
I don't know. Maybe.
Я ищу одного человека.
I'm looking for someone. A red-haired mason called Jack Jackson. He came to France about a year ago or so.
A fellow mason, great. Unfortunately, I wouldn't know a thing. After all, I just arrived here with you.
I know, but should you meet someone like that on your journey, tell him Aliena of Shiring is looking for him.
All right. Jack Jackson. I'll keep an eye out for you.
Thank you.
Уйти.
Have a safe journey.
Oh, thank you. You too.
Шербур. Я слышала, что за этот замок было много сражений. Корабль туда не пристал бы. Шутка.
I really should stay away from boats. I'm still all to and fro on the inside.
Какая мелодия прикольная. Опа. Нет, нет, Джек. На мгновение я подумала, но нет, это не он.
Good day. I am looking for someone. A traveler who came through here last summer. Oh, hush now. I need to talk to this man.
Looks young.
He was born at the beginning of summer.
What's his name?
I haven't given him one yet.
You should. He needs to know who he is. Makes growing up a lot easier. You said you're looking for someone.
Вообще-то он похож на тебя.
The man I'm looking for looks a bit like you, actually. A bit more boyish, though.
So he has red hair, but no beard. Well, I don't know every redhead around these parts. There are quite a few of us. Most of my family here in Cherbourg is ginger.
Oh, his name is Jack Jackson, and he is a mason.
No. No, sorry. I haven't seen him. And I come here every day. Maybe May saw him. She helps the sailors get their cargo to the nearby towns. Carries travelers, too.
I'll ask her. Well, thank you.
Прилавок. Они договариваются о цене за право проезда. За право торговать с англичанами приходится платить. Прилавок. Здесь торгуют рыбой, а заодно и любым товаром, каким только могут. Возница. Кажется, это ее телега. Должно быть, она знает все дороги Франции. Ну, подойдем.
Hey, you. That's quite a bundle you got there. Where are you headed?
Ты не видел рыжеволосого каменщика?
Have you seen a red-haired mason? He must have landed here sometime late last summer.
Another ginger in Normandy? I wouldn't have noticed, even if he was carrying a hammer instead of a fishing rod. Maybe you should ask someone in Barfleur. That's where all the travellers come through, the pilgrims and kings. Their lot rarely lands in Cherbourg, with the fortress passing back and forth between Stephen of Blois and Geoffrey of Anjou. Why you even came to Cherbourg in the first place baffles me.
It was the earliest ship I could get.
You must be in some hurry, madam.
Let's just say I needed to get away before I changed my mind.
Fine with me. Who am I to judge?
Может, кто-нибудь видел Джека в Барфлере? Окей. Так. Ты знаешь, как добраться до Лессе?
Do you know the road to Lessay?
Been there, seen it. But I hope you're not planning to go there on foot. Tell you what, you give me some coins and I'll treat you to me wagon. You can even change your destination once we're on the road, what'd you say?
А какие еще есть пути?
What other routes are there, besides going through Barfleur?
Oh, I don't know, really. You need to ask the locals about that. But Barfleur sounds like a good place to start. Shake my hand and I'll take you there.
Так, ну, пока прервать разговор.
Travelling by coach is a lot less strenuous than walking.
Не
Your
понимаю.
little worm deserves some warmth and a rocking carriage.
Я так понимаю, у нас все, да? Ну, тогда давай. Тогда вот куда?
Changed your mind, madam? You know, I reserved a coat.
Я готов покинуть Шербур.
All right. Take me out of town.
All right. Where do you need to be?
А, куда добраться? Я даже не ебу. Нормандия. Барфлёр. Ну, он ближе, правильно? Отправиться в Барфлёр, главный порт Франции. Либо же посетить аббатство Лессе. Давай Барфлёр начнем. С него.
We went to Barfleur, a scenic port town built on granite. It was the biggest harbour in Normandy and the main entry point for the Normans to their new possession of the Isle of England. I talked to some of the sailors and fishermen, but no one had remembered seeing Jack. How could they? Almost a year had passed since he, a simple mason, had journeyed through the busy town, a town with no memory other than that of the last king who passed through on yet another one of his violent conquests. Maybe I was approaching this the wrong way. What had drawn him to France in the first place? The distance to Kingsbridge? Or something specific? What was my lead?
Отправиться в порт Харфлер? Ну давай сначала Лессе уж тогда, аббатство.
Lessay was tiny, but as it turned out, worth the trip. In the small abbey church of the Trinity, I met a monk who claimed to have talked to a man fitting
Вот
Jack's description.
это было
He'd been
очевидно.
fascinated by the abbey's rib vaulting and had asked the monks countless questions about the place's construction. The monk apologized that he couldn't tell me where Jack had traveled next, but I didn't mind.
Это было более очевидно, что в маленьком городке будет легче найти следы его. Если, конечно, он не оставался, например, в
I lay
большом.
down to sleep on the floor of the Abbey guest house and, for the first time in almost a year, I felt relief. As I drifted into sleep, I hugged our baby tight and whispered into his tiny pink ear, "We're going to find your daddy."
Отправиться в Мон-Сен-Мишель вместе с паломниками. Остановиться в Лимане. Смотри, Харфлер отпал, да? Давай в Мон-Сен-Мишель с паломниками. Окей, отправимся.
My father had once told me tales of the Mont Saint-Michel.
Блин,
Long
красота,
ago,
да?
the Archangel Michael had urged Hubert of Avranches to build an abbey on a lonely rock on the ocean by burning a hole into his head. They say one can go and see his penetrated skull on display in the church of his hometown. It was a windy day when I arrived, and the place was crowded with pilgrims and jongleurs. I remembered Jack's fascination with these tellers of stories. I spoke to one who was just taking a break. As it happened, he had indeed met Jack, although not in Mont Saint-Michel, but on a road heading east from there. Apparently, Jack had been hopelessly tracking jongleur who might have known his father, Jack Cherbourg. But as he'd been gradually running out of money, he'd intended to look for work in Le Mans or Tours. That was about 6 months ago. I was catching up.
Лиман, Тур. Может быть, Джек отправился в Тур. Ну давай Лиман. Сначала.
Going to Le Mans reminded me of all the trouble I'd left behind in England. 30 years ago, Le Mans had been conquered by the Plantagenet Geoffrey of Anjou, Maud's husband. And although they'd held it ever since, other noble families kept on pulling at the city, like Maud and Stephen tearing at England. There was no sign of Jack, but I got news of a new kind of cathedral being built in Saint-Denis, just north of Paris. It was possible that Jack had gone there to learn from the craftsmen. That was, if he hadn't travelled further south, looking for work in one of the many churches in Tours, the hometown of Saint-Martin.
Так, у нас есть Великий собор Сен-Дени. Но я думаю, сначала все-таки Тур посетить надо. спустя 2 месяца пути. Тур, Центральная Франция. Чертеж церкви. Напоминает то, что строил Том. У нас в Кингсбридже. Все это теперь так далеко. Стрельчатая арка. А мне казалось, что они обычно круглые. Никогда не видел ничего подобного. Важный господин. Уверенный в себе человек. Но сдержанный на слова. Статуя Девы Марии. Мы с тобой обе знаем одно. Нелегко быть матерью. Понятно. Стройплощадка. Прям как в Кингсбридже. Хотя церковная архитектура совсем другая. Как будто из другого мира. Прям как в Кингсбридже. Ну что, только к мужичку остается, да? К важному господину подойти.
Good day. Are you the master builder?
What is it?
I'm looking for a mason who may have passed through here. An Englishman with carroty hair. He calls himself Jack Jackson.
A redhead?
Yes. Did you see him? He might have asked for work here.
No, I'm not looking for new masons. We're just doing repairs.
Ah, but was he here?
No, never seen him. Now, stand back, woman. Something could fall on your baby's head.
А мне сказали, что он отправился сюда.
I was told he wanted to come here.
Well, maybe he changed his mind.
Are you sure you haven't seen him?
I am.
Вы заколебались, когда я упомянул рыжие волосы. Вы заколебались, когда я упомянула рыжие волосы.
You hesitated when I mentioned a redhead. Are you sure you haven't seen him?
Yes, I am sure.
Блять. Можно поговорить с вашими рабочими?
May I talk to your workers?
No, they're busy. And I can assure you they have nothing to say on that matter.
Perhaps I'll talk to them once they've finished for the day.
It would be a waste of time.
Ну что?
All right, he was here. Was working for me. But I had to throw him out after 2 or 3 days.
Why?
Because he was all want. Let me redesign the roof, let me make the nave lighter. All pretty ideas, but he never shut up long enough to do the work he was supposed to do. Shit, that man was almost as needy as my son when he was still a brat.
He does know a lot about his craft.
Well, I know masons like him. They grow up gifted, but without a mote of discipline in their guts. Can't work with someone like that.
Do you know where he went next?
No idea. Maybe to Limoges or Angoulême. Maybe even to La Rochelle. Seemed to have plans for every cathedral on God's green earth, but none for himself.
I understand. I'll leave you to it then.
Bon voyage.
Bon voyage. Чё ты, блин, мялся? Мог бы сразу сказать нормально. Так. Ля Рошель, Лимож, Ангулем. Крупный свободный портовый город Ля Рошель. Лимож, процветающий центр ремесел. Ангулем, еще один строящийся собор. Можно в Лимож сгонять. Хотя, возможно, он тут и находится, да?
We had just left Tours when I suddenly felt dizzy. I stopped and made rest, trying to catch my breath, then lost my breakfast in a ditch at the side of the road.
Жесть. Что за херня?
To my horror, our baby too had grown pale, his breath shallow like that of an old man. I tried not to panic, but the next inn was a long distance away and we couldn't stay on the road where it was wet and cold.
Охерентус. Вернуться обратно и отдохнуть. Добраться до Пуатье. Давай доберемся до Пуатье.
I managed to walk until the sun had fully risen before I keeled over. A knife merchant who'd been travelling behind me flagged down a coach heading back to Tours and haggled with the coachman to carry me back to an inn.
Все-таки отвезли меня обратно.
Back in Tours, the fever got worse. I remember people carrying me into a room, laying me on a bed. I tried to feed my baby, but when I awoke, Jack was standing next to my bed.
Что?
He scolded me for following him. You know you could go anywhere you want, he whispered. Why be stupid and follow me? I tried to answer, but he just opened the window and jumped out, heading toward ancient Greece, or maybe all the way to Arabia. And in my feverish mind, I followed him.
Что, Греция? Аравия? Колыбель цивилизации? Родина философии, давай в Грецию.
The further I went, the angrier I got. For years, I'd been fighting for my family. I'd committed myself to an oath to my father. I'd built up a business to sustain it and even married a man I despised so I could create a future for the people around me.
Ну, кстати, да, в прошлый раз я, конечно, ругался на нее, потому что она совершала херню, блядь. Но, с другой стороны, тоже ей пришлось, блин, действительно дохерища всего сделать, а ее брат...
I'd known nothing but my duty to the men in my life, while the man I was trying to find lived a life of casual irresponsibility. He traveled the world on a whim to learn about mathematics and philosophy, while I had to raise the child he'd fathered. When could I ever do anything just for myself? I asked the world as I went on.
Чё? Куда теперь ты хочешь? В Кингсбридж? Место великого падения?
I travelled in a circle all the way to the edge of the world and back, only to return to the place of our failure. With my eyes closed, I listened to the sound of ripping yarn and crumbling walls, and of coaches carrying good people away into a cloud of crimson dust. When the last moat had settled, I opened my eyes again and found myself in a dirty little room. An old maid was sitting next to my bed and smiled at me, then handed me my baby. Oh, dear God, he still looked so pale.
Согреть его.
The more I tried to keep him warm, the colder he felt. Oh, please, God, let him live. Don't punish him for my own sins. I gently caressed his head until finally he put his mouth to my breast and drank more and more, becoming greedier with every swallow. We had both been spared. We rested one more day. Then I gathered my things and headed back to the cathedral to thank the Lord for his mercy.
Жесть. А чё ты сюда пришла? Надо возблагодарить Господа за то, что Он сохранил жизнь нашего ребенка. Понятно. Стройплощадка. И куда ты хочешь? А, статуя где? Отличное место, чтобы помолиться. Статуя Девы Марии.
I thank you, dear Lord.
All right,
I
steady
thank
now.
you for having spared my child. I thank you for...
Don't let go until it's done.
But why are you showing mercy on me? I failed everyone I cared about. I failed Jack. I failed my brother. And if I never return, I would also break the oath I had given Father. It's just that I feel like I've never had a life of my own. I've always fought for others. And this may be the very first time that I fight for something that I only want for myself. Maybe I should just go back and help rebuild Kingsbridge. Maybe Jack doesn't even care for me anymore. Amen.
Ее вот это вот медальон. Я так и думал. Неужели это...
I've seen one of those before.
It's amazing, isn't it? The man who did that really had it in him.
Что ему дано?
Had what in him?
The spirit of a true Mason. It's a shame that the master let him go. In just 1 month, he did so many things.
А что же он тут делал?
What did he do?
He came up with ideas for how to make the construction easier. But the master didn't want to hear it. To tell you the truth, everyone thinks that he feared for his own job having someone like that around. The last thing Jack did was carve that corbel. It was the one thing the master let him do. Then when he was done, he was asked to leave.
В нем столько боли.
It bears so much pain.
I know. Jacques worked very hard on it. He was impatient and had a temper, but you could see that he tried to overcome it. Conquering that rock was very important to him.
Oh, I understand that so well. Do you happen to know where he went next?
He wanted to walk the pilgrim trail to Santiago de Compostela.
The Camino? The Way of St. James?
He said he might find someone there who knew his father.
Just one more thing. How was he when he left?
Never thought about that. Relieved, I guess. He seemed ready for something new.
Thank you so much for your help.
Think nothing of it. And good luck on your travels. May you find what you are looking for.
Где-то далеко.
Isn't it odd? Just when you stop looking, you come across the most curious of things. Like these 3 devices that one of my merchants brought back from Baghdad.
Oh no. Is it another one of your Banu Musa toys, Rashid?
They're not toys, Adriel. They're objects of scholarly ingenuity and reflection.
I will let my valued friend from the north do the honors. Jack, if you may.
Прикол. Устройство Ослик. Одна из новых игрушек Рашида. Она из далекой восточной страны. Ее приводит в действие простая вода. Рашид и его друзья, евреи, мусульманин и христиане. Наблюдать за их перебранками всегда занятно. Столько в них мудрости и юмора. Миска с водой. Вода, чтобы освежить горло в знойный день. Такую тяжесть не выйдет таскать с собой. Свод. Ребристые своды и стрельчатые арки. Эти южные строители настоящие гении. Свеча. Фитиль, пропитанный жиром и залитый воском. Должно быть, и это когда-то казалось гениальным изобретением. Как же легко утратить чувство благоговения. Статуя Богородицы. Простое дерево с каменными глазами. Да, сорища. Никаких механизмов или хитроумных устройств. Никто не знает, как она работает. Маленький контейнер. Он как влитой сидит в этом устройстве. Но его несложно удалить. Обычно он содержит воду. Устройство с певчей птицей. Еще одно новое устройство. Это работает на пару. Вот это сила мысли. Так, ну давай. Что?
On second thought, why don't you save the lady for last? Otherwise, the other two devices might appear bland and boring in comparison.
Да.
I agree.
Окей. Миска с водой или что, блядь?
No, it's too heavy.
Сейчас, секунду.
What is he doing now?
Not much, I suppose.
What is he doing now? You mustn't hurry these things if you want them to turn out well.
Так, я вернулся. Я надеюсь, они тут не ругались на меня. Так, ну что, маленький контейнер? Получается сначала. Пусто. Угу. Так, мы теперь зачерпываем. Это своего рода чайник, правильно я так понимаю? Хоп.
And now, Jack will heat the water in the tank.
Рашид не должен знать, что я поджег собор.
It's so beautiful it will make you cry. Just listen.
Бану Муса. Бану Муса. Братья, известные под общим именем Бану Муса, сыновья Мусы. Трое ученых персидского происхождения, жившие в Багдаде в IX веке. Их самый известный труд – «Книга изобретений», большой иллюстрированный сборник, посвященный механическим приспособлениям и машинам. В основном эти механизмы создавались с развлекательной целью, но в них использовались новаторские для своего времени инженерные технологии. Братья писали также книги по астрономии, астрологии и геометрии. Их исследования в области геометрии оказали влияние как на исламских, так и на европейских математиков.
Well, how marvelous! How does it work?
Maybe it's a miracle.
Right.
Go on, Jack. Tell them.
Она одержима злым духом? Объяснить.
There's a hidden wheel inside the box. It turns an axle that in return raises and drops a sequence of small cylinders inside. These cylinders work like fingers playing a flute.
But who is blowing into the flute?
Steam.
Steam?
Yes. When I opened the pipe, it gradually pushed itself into the tube.
The power of steam. For once, I must agree. This is brilliant.
Of course! It was created by a Muslim after all.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. What else have you got, Rashid?
Anyone care for some tea?
Thank you, my daughter. We will have some as soon as Jack has finished our presentation.
Mind if I watch?
Of course not.
So, who is this man, Rashid?
Jack is a friend of the house. A brilliant man, a scholar and a
Аиша.
talented artist.
Она принесла чай, но, разумеется, это всего лишь предлог. Она слишком умна, это повод прийти послушать наш разговор. Так, а что теперь хотите вы еще?
What is that?
A Greek who wrote a book called The Elements of Geometry.
Небольшой
The
стол.
Egyptians translated it
Вот
into Arabic.
тенистое
and
место,
now the
подальше от
Englishmen are
полуденного
turning it
зноя.
into Latin.
В окружении рукотворных чудес.
How very peculiar.
Ну а что ты хочешь от меня?
No, it's too heavy.
Ты не обжегся? Пусто.
Don't let me distract you, Jack.
I could watch this man scoop up water all day.
No, it's for the presentation.
You showed it to us already.
Что?
Now that's not how she works.
А, стоп, я понял, ослика.
Now, watch the head. Just any moment now. There. Did you see? It threw up. Rashid, this is disgusting. Oh, far from it. Would you kindly explain how it works, Jack?
Это чистая магия. Объясните.
You see that bowl floating on top of the water? At the bottom of that bowl is a small hole. Through it, the bowl is slowly filled with liquid. Once it's full, it sinks, pulling a string which makes the ball drop onto a weight. This, in return, pulls the bowl up again, emptying it in the process.
Thus resetting the entire mechanism.
If you timed it perfectly, you could make it drop a ball at every hour.
Turning it into a clock. How clever.
For me, it's still nothing more than a puking donkey.
Show us more, Rashid.
One could join those two and build a singing donkey clock. One song after every hour.
Это не дурная идея. Не дурная.
That would be pretty clever.
I know, right? You could be the one to build it.
Oh, that would be unfair. It's your invention.
I would let you have it. Or we design it together.
You still haven't shown us that statuette yet.
Of course. Jack, if you may.
Так, получается, берем ее.
Oh, you will love this. Just watch.
Надо положить в прохладное место.
And now?
Just be patient, but don't look away. It takes some time for her to...
To do what?
Превратилась, чтобы
Crying?
в
Isn't
трансформер.
that amazing?
No, it's irritating.
Rashid, what is going on?
Это тайна. Мы не знаем. В смысле, мы не знаем. Это тайна.
It's a mystery.
Rashid, please. We all know that there is no such thing as a man-made miracle.
And this piece of wood is very clearly made by man.
I very much agree, my friends. But so far, none of us has an explanation.
All we know for certain is that her glassy eyes shed tears when you move her from warmth into cold.
Like a plant at sunrise. Like dew. The only difference is the surface. That's all.
Она права.
She's right.
Of course, I had no intention of disturbing your conversation. But if you can find out why there's dew gathering on a plant, you may understand why that woman is so weepy. So, who wants a cup of tea?
I'll have some.
Your daughter is quite something, Rashid. A scholar in her own right.
I know. I'd rather she wasn't. It would make marrying her off so much easier.
Oh, I'm certain that won't stay a problem for long.
Maybe the dew originates from invisible water in the air. Water that stays hidden when it's hot.
На пути Святого Якова. Через 3 что-то там.
The pilgrim trails across France converged at Osterbat in the foothills of the Pyrenees. There, the group of 20 or so pilgrims who had been travelling alongside me since I'd left Tours swelled to about 70. Some were prosperous citizens, some probably on the run from justice, a few drunks, and several monks and clergymen. Several languages were spoken, including Flemish, a German tongue, and a southern French language called Oc. Nevertheless, there was no lack of communication among them, and as we crossed the Pyrenees, they sang, played games, told stories, and in several cases had love affairs. While my baby and I kept mostly to ourselves.
Ganz schön frech, die mit ihrem Kind.
Hush now, hm?
Качать малыша, отправиться на прогулку, не спит полностью, напивать песни.
Richtig dreist. Kann ein Mann nicht einfach mal seine Ruhe haben? Der Weg aus Babenberg war doch anstrengend genug.
Извини, теперь
Ein Kind hat ja auch gar nichts verloren. Stimmt doch, oder?
Psst, jetzt ist aber gut.
I'm sorry. He has to cry himself out before he'll fall asleep. It will give you a strong voice one day, won't it? Do you have children?
Качать малыша. Продолжить разговор с паломниками.
How long have you been traveling to get here? I met pilgrims from as far east as Franconia.
Жесть, он орёт. Ладно, я, наверное, уйду лучше.
I am sorry. We'll go for a walk, so you can get some rest.
Костер. Здесь было заготовлено немного дров для всех паломников, которым случится пройти мимо. Немецкие пилигримы. Я их не понимаю. Это что, немецкая речь? Тропинка к пути Святого Иакова. Нет, я уйду завтра. Через мост. Да господи. Берег реки. Река Арга. Большинство паломников останавливают. Блин, как вот это вот красиво отрисовано вообще. Сейчас. Плачет. Большинство паломников останавливаются возле источника в городе. Но я подумал, что у реки будет потише. А теперь весь шум здесь подняла я. Слепая женщина. Вот бедняжка. Может, я сумею ей хоть чем-нибудь помочь? Пуэнта Романика. Город получил привилегию на строительство моста. Всем паломникам приходится проходить через него. Благодаря этому торговля в городе процветает.
Tomorrow.
Ну так, ну давай к женщине подойдем.
Dear Lord, what are you doing? You should get out of the water. It's freezing.
Она что-нибудь ищет,
My
что ли?
ring. I lost my ring. Dear Lord, please show mercy.
Путь. Пересечь Пиренеи было очень нелегко. А теперь мне все время идти на запад, пока не доберусь до Сантьяго де Компостела. Искать кольцо, влажная почва. Искать кольцо. Может, оно упало в кусты?
Come back to me. Please come back to me.
Это крошечный кустик. Что, тоже нету? А, вон она, я вижу. Что это блестит?
Where are you? Where did you go?
Я нашла его. Можно себе типа оставить его? Давай
I
отдадим
found
лучше.
it.
Yes! Oh, thank you! Thank you so much! You are a very kind woman. So very, very kind.
I'm glad I could help.
Yes, yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Ну как, тебе уже теплее?
Are you getting warmer?
I am, thank you.
Расскажи мне о своем кольце.
I can see this ring is very precious to you.
It was a gift from my stepmother. She thought I would stay forever, but I didn't.
Почему же ты покинула отчий дом?
Why did you leave?
Oh, I thought I didn't belong. She always said I was her daughter, but I was sure she was lying. I was so selfish and so stupid. Too stupid to see I really was happy.
Расскажи мне о своей мачехе.
Tell me about your stepmother.
She was such a kind woman. So very, very kind.
Может, ты впрямь была несчастна?
Maybe you really weren't happy.
I don't know. I was very young and thought I was unhappy because I didn't live close to the sea. But in the end, the sea did not feel the same about me. The cold there made me sick. It took away my sight.
Жесть. Почему же ты не вернулась? Чтобы вот так уйти, нужно немало храбрости. Почему-то же ты не вернулась?
Why didn't you go back?
She had been so angry when I left. So angry and disappointed. She would have never let me return.
Ah, that's why you went on the pilgrimage.
Yes, so that St. James might see my devotion, and I will be united with my mother in heaven. I'm just not as kind as you. Not kind at all.
Ты слишком строга к себе, у нас немало общего.
Actually, we two have quite a few things in common. I too am trying to make amends with the one man I loved the most. I was told he went straight to Santiago.
You will know soon.
Not soon enough. It's still 4 weeks till I get there.
He'll be there, I'm sure of it.
I hope so. I just feel that with every day that passes, I'm losing him a bit more. And that the only thing I can allow myself still to hope for is not love, but forgiveness.
I understand.
Hey, hush now. Not long now and our journey will be over, hmm?
Сейчас, секундочку. Секундочку. Так. Путь Святого Иакова. Изучить. Камино де Сантьяго. Эль Камино де Сантьяго или Путь Святого Иакова. Маршрут христианского паломничества в кафедральный собор города Сантьяго де Компостелла, где по преданию покоятся останки апостола Иакова Старшего. Наряду с паломничествами в Иерусалим и Рим, это одна из важнейших для христиан дорог. Только в таком пути паломник и мог освободиться от своих грехов. К XII веку такие паломничества стали организованными, вдоль пути стала возникать инфраструктура, а также был составлен первый в истории путеводитель, так называемый Кодекс Каликстинус, Кодекс Каликста, призванный поддержать будущих паломников и укрепить их в намерении совершить паломничество. Отличительным знаком пути Святого Иакова, как и символом самого апостола Иакова, является ракушка. Жесть, это я уже в Испании. Бильбао, Бургас, Памплона. Или что это? Это очень северно для Испании или нет? Сарагоса, Бильбао, а вот это тут что? А, ну, в принципе... Ну нет, я себе немножко как-то по-другому представлял берега у Испании. Хотя, хрен знает, может быть. Двинуться дальше по пути. Давай, двигаемся.
The woman's name was Alba. She came from a small town somewhere in Catalonia. I quickly got used to her constantly feeling out for her stepmother's ring and the sad guilt that would always follow in her milky eyes. I wasn't sure if she appreciated my company, but I couldn't leave her on her own either. By the time we reached Los Arcos, she'd stopped talking, while I kept on dropping a kind word here and there to let her know I was still by her side.
Бургас. Двинуться дальше по пути.
Alba believed herself to be of weak mind and body, and yet she walked the Camino with a strong sense of purpose that willed her onward. It made me wonder about what I'd told her about my own journey. Did I hope for love, or was I really traveling because I needed him to forgive me? But what was there to forgive? My decision to marry Alfred had been in the best interest of the people of Shiring. It was a sacrifice I had to make to stop the evil reign of William Hamley. These questions had haunted me for a long time now. But if I really was going to see Jack soon, it was time to make up my mind.
Леон.
Around Lyon, the path began to gradually turn uphill. It was only 2 more weeks till we'd reached Santiago. The baby was in a good mood, and so, surprisingly, was Alba.
Двинуться дальше.
After Astorga, the trail got more difficult. Alba became slower and slower, and we had to rest more. She became quiet again. The strain on her old body grew, and she worried that she might not be able to reach the end. Still, we managed to push onward.
Панферадо.
The next morning, she refused to get up. Her
Жесть.
breathing was disturbingly shallow, and she hardly noticed me touching her forehead. Everything hurts, she said, and urged me to continue without her.
Остаться с ней.
Of course, I stayed with her. I brought her food and water and sat by her side. But day after day, her condition grew worse. She kept on urging me to go, to find Jack, saying the monks of Ponferrado would take care of her.
Оставаться рядом с ней.
I'd hardly known her, and most of the time she'd tried to push me away, as if she considered herself a nuisance that slowed me down and who didn't deserve company. It wasn't until a few moments before she died that, for the first time, she smiled at me, and I like to believe that she saw me smile back.
Жесть.
I still like to believe that here, in this unlikely place, dying next to a near stranger, she'd found a moment of serenity and happiness, but she'd not reached Santiago. When I left, that thought still haunted me, to see that a journey could come to an end so suddenly. But what would be different if she had reached Santiago? Could she have been disappointed by what she found?
Сантьяго де Компостела. Спустя месяц путешествий по
After
пути
months
Святого
of hard
Иакова.
travel, the child and I finally reached Santiago de Compostela. In the evening, we attended Mass in the great cathedral, then started to roam the town looking for my dear Jack. It was almost dawn when finally a priest pointed me to an inn close by.
Кувшины. Кто-то оставил их здесь, а может просто позабыл. Еще одна группа пьяных паломников. Костер. В костре потрескивает огонь. Здесь тепло и уютно. Отдыхающий паломник. Ночной воздух прохладен. Скоро встанет солнце. Хозяин постоялого двора. Должно быть, на заднем видит немало людей, идущих мимо, и все ближе к нему. Трактир. Еще один трактир для паломников. Мне сказали, что здесь останавливался Джек. Но куда он отправился потом? Собор. Еще один собор. Джек мог побывать здесь. Собор никогда ему не надоедают.
Buenos dias. Do you understand me?
Sinto-cho ben, pero non temos camas dispoñibles.
No, I don't need a room. I was told a friend of mine stayed here some time ago. A red-haired Englishman called Jack. Do you remember him?
Eu só che falo en galego, miña rula.
Francais? English?
Понятно. Жаль, я не знаю ее языка. Это и не испанский, не португальский.
Have you seen a man called Jack Jackson? Jack? He's a mason.
Jack?
Yes, have you seen him?
Pásanche por aquí centos de peregrinos, e cada un eche de seu pai. Vas ter que ser algo máis específica.
I don't understand.
Может, кто-то может мне перевести? Маленький рыжик, прям как отец. Так. Зачем мне это?
I'm looking for a man who likes to read a lot.
E logo anda sempre cun libro en riba.
Have you seen anyone like that?
Pero, por que levas un libro en riba? Vas escangallar co peso.
She doesn't even understand that I'm looking for a
Я,
person
кажется,
yet.
понял, как.
¡Qué cousiña! ¡Eche rubio!
Sí, redhead.
Вы не могли бы нас накормить? Вы не видели его отца. Я до сих пор не дала ему имя. Окей. Ну, если я показал, наверное, так, да. Хотя... Так sначала.
Can you give us some food? Comida.
Se queres xantar, terás que pagar. Síntocho, pero non es a única muller cun fillo que ven por aquí pedindo comida.
I haven't given him a name yet.
E logo, como dis que se chama?
I want his father to have a say in it too.
Ah, o seu pai ten que estar moi orgulloso. É un peregrino?
Oh, no. He's not a pilgrim.
Entón, quen ven sendo?
Он каменщик.
He's a mason.
Ai, mal rayo, me partas entendo o que me estás a contar.
Нет ли у вас постояльца-переводчика?
Oh, is there someone inside who might be able to translate for us?
Nena, que temer que quen te entenda.
A translator? A guest?
Agora mesmo estanche todos a dormir. Case che diría que volvas mañá pola mañá.
Указать на что-нибудь? А, ну можно на собор указать.
Let me show you something.
И что я могу указать? Костер. Указать на постоялый двор. Попросить помощи. Может, реально попросить помощи?
Oh, can you help us translate?
O inglés non cho falo, desculpa.
Ага, понятно. Ну вот, давай укажу на собор, может быть.
He's a mason. He builds things like that.
Ah, eche masón. Albanel.
Sí, a mason. It's the same word in Galician.
Por aquí pasan unha morea de masóns. Non me poderías dicir algo máis sobre el?
Oín falar dun masón que dis que se dedica a traducir libros en Toledo.
Polo visto, di que se chama Jack.
Yes, Jack. Have you seen him?
Non sei cal será o seu apelido, pero ben é certo que non chai moitos masóns rubios aos que lles guste ler.
Это, видимо, какой-то
porque non vai a Toledo a
диалект.
comprobalo por si mesma.
Entón, marchou para Toledo.
Так, он отправился в Толедо.
He went to Toledo.
A Toledo marchou, sí.
Di que o teu Jack podería estar en Toledo.
All right, so I will go to Toledo then. Gracias. I just pray that I understood you correctly.
Жесть. Отправиться в Толедо. Примерно через месяц после Компостеллы. Толедо.
Buenos dias. Parlez-vous français? English?
Of course. How may I help you?
I was told a man named Jack Jackson lives in this house.
Who told you this?
A group of scholars living at the edge of town. They said he used to translate old scriptures about mathematics before he moved here.
Please wait here. I will talk with Master Rashid.
Вход. Еще одна стрельчатая арка. Немало я их повидал с тех пор, как покинула Англию. Пожалуйста, Господи, пусть Джек окажется здесь. Дом такой большой и светлый. Таких домов у нас не строят. Что же слуга так долго копается? Стрельчатые арки. Джеку они наверняка нравятся. А что если он захочет здесь остаться? Что если без меня ему даже лучше? Джеку они... Так, понятно. Фонтан. Какой удивительный фонтан. Он похож на настоящий источник. О, ящерица. Колонны. Они напоминают мне клуатор в Кингсбридже. Только это укрытие от хорошей, а не от плохой погоды. Заглянуть внутрь. Ну, давай заглянем. О, это что самое помещение, между прочим. Остаться снаружи, войти внутрь, давай. Полюбопытничаем немножко. Устройство ослик. Великолепная работа. Выглядит так, будто вот-вот оживет. Свод. Весь покрыт резьбой. В жизни не видел ничего подобного. Джеку здесь очень понравилось. Так, устройство с певчей птицей. Что это такое? Искусственная птица, соединенная с какой-то штукой. Праща. Большой стол с красивой резьбой. Пуст. Пращу. Давай возьмем пращу. Это ж его праща. Он здесь. Какие еще доказательства мне нужны взять? Давай выйдем наружу. Вон стоит. Молодая женщина, дочь хозяина дома. Какая хорошенькая. Так. Ну давай поговорим с ней.
Oh, there you are. May I ask who let you stroll around our house?
А кто вы такая? Не, мне было велено да, кто вы такая?
Oh, well, who are you? I am a daughter of this house. I have every right to be here. My servant told me there would be a guest. My father's not here at the moment, so you'll have to make do with me. Unfortunately, I must disappoint you. There's no one called Jack living in this house.
В смысле? Я нашла его пращу.
He must be here. I found his slingshot.
What? Who allowed you inside my father's archive?
Я не хотел вас обидеть.
I didn't mean to be disrespectful of your hospitality.
I just hope for your sake you didn't touch anything. Every piece in there is precious to my father, even that slingshot. I'm sorry, but this is not easy for any of us. I think you should know that Jack and I are promised to each other.
Что?
Maybe we should go inside. The sun's burning, and my mother doesn't need to hear us. Jack told me about you. You are Aliena. You're the one who rejected him and married his stepbrother. And now you want him back.
Я хочу, чтобы сын познал, я пришла, потому что люблю, ну, блять, окей, пусть будет так. Блять, какой пиздец, она хочет опять все испортить.
The little one is Jack's son.
Она так и норовит это сделать.
He always said that he had come here to find out about his family. But instead, he found out about everything else. About philosophy, mathematics. When he and my father met, it was love at first sight. They studied together and made great plans. But in the end, Jack would always start talking about his cathedral again. This great church he would build one day. Rib vaults and pointed windows. He'd ramble on about it for hours and stare up at that ceiling. We three sat here for hours and talked. And then in the evenings it would be just the two of us. So many strange ideas about the future. Some barely more than silly dreams. Others almost in arm's reach.
Вы говорите о нем так, будто он ушел.
You're talking about him as if he were gone.
Well, he's not here anymore. My father had offered him work as a master builder here in Toledo. He would have been well off and free to spend his evenings under vaults like this, with me as his wife. But in the end he refused. Tell me, did you really marry his stepbrother?
Ай, это была ошибка.
It was a mistake. I know that now.
Mm-hmm.
I did it to fulfill a promise I'd made to my father. I thought I had no choice. I didn't want to hurt him. Believe me.
I do. You know, he left me because of you. Even after all you did to him, he couldn't let go. You can be glad that you ran into me and not my mother. She was enraged when he left.
He can have that effect on people.
But apart from that, we made our peace with him. Father even gave him one of his favorite pieces of his collection as a parting gift.
О,
A
статуя.
small wooden statue with stone eyes in exchange for his slingshot.
Would you mind telling me where he went?
He went to Paris to work on the Cathedral of Saint-Denis.
Я его
He
мог
said
так
he never
быстро
found out
найти.
about his father, so there was no reason to stay down here anymore.
Paris?
Yes. If you find him there, tell him I don't miss him.
Простите, мне очень жаль.
I am sorry for all this.
You don't have to be. What is the child's name, by the way?
Well, he has none yet. I wouldn't name him without Jack.
Isn't that a bit silly?
Да, это глупо.
Maybe. But he's his son as well as mine.
Мгм.
It's his right to have a say in it too.
Могла бы потом
Then off to
поменять.
Paris. That baby needs a name.
He will get one. Thank you.
Сен-Дени нас ждет, да, я так понимаю? Опа, 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 опа. Пошла, пошла, пошла. Блин, ну это жесть, конечно.
I travelled back along the way of St. James, passing through Astorga, Lyon and Burgos. I crossed the Pyrenees, revisiting Bordeaux, Angoulême, Poitiers, but never stayed longer than one night. The closer I came to Paris, the stronger my old doubts and fears resurfaced. If Jack really was there, what was I to say to him?
Мне хотелось треснуть ему. За что, блять? Хотелось прижать его к сердцу. Мне хотелось поговорить с ним. Поговорить с ним.
We had to hear each other out before we could walk on again, in whatever direction that would be.
Не знаю. То, как она поступила, я не могу верить в то, что она искренняя. 3 месяца спустя. Это что такое? Париж? Жесть! Фига себе он выглядит, конечно. Вон там он Эйфелева, да? Блин, капец, как будто деревушка. Ну, это, наверное, какие-то эти окраины. Василиска оф Сен-Денис. Базилика Сен-Дени. Жесть, он что, стал этим? Паломником? Ой, не паломником, а монахом, что ли? Не, наверное, он все-таки строит тут. Хотя, хер его знает. Да вот это вот что-то похожее такое. Ворот собора. Никуда я не пойду. Только не сейчас. Нельзя упускать шанс увидеть с ним.
I can't just leave, even if he doesn't want to see me. He deserves to see his son.
Каменщики. Нет. Это не он. Рабочие. Его здесь нет. Может быть, его и вовсе здесь нет. Камни. Наверное, Джек нас ненавидит. Том не допускал его к основным работам в соборе. А я его бросил. Наверное, Джек нас... Однозначно он имеет право вас всех ненавидеть. Вы как ебаные паскуды, блядь, поступили с ним. Стройплощадка. Весь собор сплошная стройплощадка. Неужели он правда здесь? Да хочет ли он меня видеть? Смотри-ка, а? Медальон-то его. Что такое? Это он стоит? Разноцветный свет из окон. Красиво, потрясающе. О, это он!
There. Are we awake then? You almost missed this.
Ну это он, да.
Look at these colorful windows. Look at the light.
А 6, конечно, вот эти вот окошки все. Просто невероятные.
Ali.
We came to see you, Jack.
We? Is he?
He is your son.
My son?
Пиздец какой-то.
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. Ali, where do we go from here?
Wherever we go, I want to go with you.
Will you marry me? Both of you?
We will. We stayed in Paris as husband and wife. And our son, Tommy. The days went by quickly. Jack had learned much working as a builder in Saint-Denis. Days became months. Then after a year, we both grew restless. Where can we go from here, we asked ourselves again. We both confessed that we wanted to see our families, our friends. And then we knew where we wanted to go. Home. Even if it was in shambles.
Шербургская гавань.
We need to hurry. The ship to England will leave soon.
What's going on here?
Whatever it is, if the crowd doesn't clear up, we'll miss our ship.
Наша телега. Никто не обращает внимания. Может, их внимание привлечет лошадь или сделает еще хуже. Наш сундук. Подарок от Рашида. Ему было непросто расстаться с этой статуей. Но он настоял, чтобы я забрал ее. Священник. Может, он сумеет помочь? От него пахнет пивом. Жонглер. Толпа вот-вот набросится на него. Он нервничает. Надо ему помочь. Только вот-вот... Ага. Разъяренная толпа. Настоящее столпотворение. Давай, гляди, начнется драка. Через какую толпу не проберешься. Через такую... Священник. Давай подойдем к нему.
Do you know what's going on?
Oh, chaos. I can't get these people to calm down. God knows I tried.
What happened?
The jongleur told the crowd a few stories. Then he sold people some miracle charms, but it was just fairy tales and painted stones.
Well, it always is.
I know, but I'd need a real miracle to calm them down now. Otherwise, they'll rip him apart.
Может, в наших вещах найдется что-то полезное? Ну, давай наш сундук. Она осталась теплой благодаря вкладке в ящик и слегка сырой благодаря дереву. Ну что мне, типа, тенистое местечко. Хорошо быть немного отдохнуть.
Excuse me?
What's going on here?
He's a thief. He told us lies and stole our money.
But isn't that just a simple jongleur?
That poor man. We need to help him.
Ну давай поставим, хорошо.
Do you see? It's working.
Your friend Rashid must be quite the miracle worker.
В уголках глаз у нее собрались капли жидкости. Что?
Look! What's going on? The Holy Mother. She's crying.
Смотрите.
Revere the Holy Mother, for she has blessed us with a sign from the heavens. Cease your doings right now and witness the miracle.
It's true. Lord in heaven. Why is she crying?
Потому что там надо сесть на корабль. О грехах ваших. Ну давай... О грехах ваших.
She weeps for your sins.
What has this man done to you that you would treat him like a wild animal?
He tricked us and took our coin.
And you would kill him for your own foolishness.
The Holy Virgin weeps, for you are not living by the word of God.
It is the Mother of God.
Forgive us, Holy Mother.
Where did she come from?
Сказать правду. Придумать историю.
For hundreds of years, she languished in the land of the Saracens.
Блять, зачем я это
Dormant,
выдумал?
she has been waiting for the one to bring her home.
Listen to what he has to say. The Holy Virgin has chosen this young family to protect her. Tell us all where you are headed.
Her destination is beyond these waters. In the small town of Kingsbridge, in the earldom of Shiring. There she wants to rest.
Kingsbridge?
Where's that?
Hail Mary!
Make way for the Holy Virgin!
Hallelujah!
Make Robert well!
Huh?
Blessed Mary, let my daughter conceive.
Give us a good harvest!
They're donating to ask for her blessing.
Oh. The weeping Madonna shall hear your prayer. And with your donations, I shall build her a new shrine at Kingsbridge, a cathedral.
It's you.
Что?
Who do you mean?
You. The red-haired ghost.
Me? A ghost?
Какой?
My husband is very much alive. I've known him since he was 12 years old.
But he drowned. By God, you drowned. 24 years ago. On the white ship.
My poor, poor son.
Это его бабушка.
His name was Jacques.
Jacques Cherbourg.
Jack Cherbourg.
Так, глава 15. Путешествие. Произошедшие события. Вы старались не думать о предстоящем пути на корабле в Нормандию. Вы... Блять, сколько всего. Вы последовали совету возницы и уткнулись в тупик в Барфлере. Вы и младенец серьезно заболели, но сумели выжить. Вы помогли паломнице на пути святого Иакова, вы проникли в священный архив Рашида, вы украли пращу Джека у Рашида, вы нашли Джека в Париже, вы решили вернуться в Кингсбридж, вы спасли Барта от разъяренной толпы, вы встретили бабушку Джека и наконец узнали о судьбе его отца принять. Так чё ж все пиздели-то, блядь, нихуя ничего не знали, но пиздели. Глава 16. Дом. Понятно, он какой-то типа из какой-то крутой семьи. Кингсбридж, скорее всего, по итогу будет так.
So much has grown. But there are no roots, no herbs.
Мне кажется, я не готов видеть Джонатана. Ну, он подрос немножко. 6.
What are you looking at, Jonathan?
The garden is in disorder. I want it to be right again, but I don't know how to do it.
Before I became prior, I thought the same about Kingsbridge.
Well, what did you do?
I cleaned up.
Where do we start?
Предложить выдернуть сорняки.
Some plants are weeds and must go before we can plant new seeds.
What are weeds?
They take away what the other plants need to grow. Light, water, room.
What do we do?
Pluck them. They look a lot like every other plant, so you need to learn how to tell them apart. Here, you see those? They're called wood sorrel. Let's pluck only those for now.
I'll do it.
If you insist. Make sure to pull out all of the thin roots.
And now what do I do?
Предложить разрыхлить почву.
For plants to take root, the soil must be loose and fertile.
So, may I dig now? Done. What's next?
Спросите... тут уже предложить посадить семечко, окей. Просто до этого было типа спросить, готов ли он посадить семечко. Милли собирал же семена, да? Прикол.
Now, where did you put them? Ah, here they are.
Эти буквы орешки я дал Милью давным-давно.
I found these nuts for you. Remember, Mills, you always said that one day there will be a beech tree growing here. I think it's about time.
Ну хватит, ну что вы? Ну зачем?
What did you bring?
Ебать, мураши ёбнули у меня.
A kind man with a warm smile. Well, he told me to give you this.
Wow!
А чё такая камера?
Now we just have to wait.
Чё с камерой?
All right.
Чё с кадром?
How long?
Too long for us to keep sitting here.
That long.
Some things take time. And only with patience will you receive your reward.
Why do we have to do all these things if all we had to do is wait?
Simply waiting would not have been enough, Jonathan. You just paved the way for things to take their course. They are happening right now. And in a few days' time, we will return and see the first green leaf of something new.
Oh. Is it God's reward?
Maybe.
Does he make things grow?
You made it.
No. I just planted the seed.
Полить семечко.
Now you can fetch some water from the rain barrel.
But that water's smelly. It's been there forever. There are many trees by the river. I bet that water's better.
That's a longer walk, though.
I don't mind. The distance is worth it.
Maybe you're right. It is worth it. Let's walk together then.
But I'll carry the bucket.
Кингсбридж в тот же день.
Why isn't Remigius holding the sermon? What's gotten into Philip?
Офигеть, вот это да. Вот это, блин, да, у них.
Our church lies in ruins. But all of this, these dire times, have revealed something important to us. Something that, maybe until today, I wasn't aware of.
What do you mean?
Заявить, что Бог не присматривает за нами. Заявить, что церковь не нужна. Ну, давай заявим, что Бог не присматривает за нами.
God doesn't watch us from above. While you and I have waited for God to make things better, a lot has happened. Hardships and happiness. Yesterday, I heard the choir sing a new chant and was moved beyond words. Today, Jonathan tended to our garden to make it beautiful again. And he told me of things I almost had forgotten. God doesn't work in the ways we might assume. All good and all evil the scripture tells us about are not out there or in here. they are within each of us.
Заявить, что человек дьявол, заявить, что человек Бог. Да, заявить, что человек Бог.
God made us in his image. Thus we carry the godly spark within us. But we have witnessed that man can have the devil in his heart as well. Prayer needs no special place, for we are his church. In our actions, he exists.
We are God's temple.
No man is closer to God than any other man. Whether you pray in church or on the streets of our towns, whether you're a man, woman, monk, or bishop.
Philip, look outside!
You have to see them. You've got to see the horses and the colours.
Jonathan.
Выслушать его.
Now, what's going on?
I heard noises and I went to look.
Calm down. What happened?
But the priest said they brought a miracle.
Who? What? What priest?
Step right up, brothers and sisters. For you are about to see something that will change your life.
Who is that?
They brought us a miracle.
A miracle?
Don't be shy. There is no
Это
danger.
тот самый
Just
священник.
awe that awaits you here. Ah, you must be Prior Philip. I am Brother Reynold. I have been sent by the Archbishop of Canterbury. Here is his letter, in case you have reasonable doubts.
Письмо архиепископа Кентерберийского изучить. Письмо датировано 20 апреля 1141 года. Филипп из Кингсбриджа. Настоящим молю вас принять благодать плачущей Богоматери, поскольку она избрала Кингсбридж на роль своего обиталища. Когда слухи о чуде дошли до моих ушей, я призвал процессию к себе. Я увидел собственными глазами, святыня и правда существует. Я провозгласил это чудом Англии и намеревался вернуть святыню в Винчестер, однако ваш Джек убедил меня поступить иначе. Я отправил одного священника из моего окружения, Рейнольда, сопровождать процессию и доставить вам это письмо. Примите мое благословение, Филипп из Кингсбриджа. Надеюсь, вы восстановите свой монастырь, чтобы он был достоин Святой Матери Божьей. Теобальд, архиепископ Кентерберийский.
We've been charged to accompany the Weeping Madonna. She is to replace the loss of your relic, Saint Adolphus the Martyr, who was taken from you, I hear, with brute force.
What?
On her travel from far
Зачем они
away
стоят в масках?
Africa, she has collected donations to reward Kingsbridge for your faith in her and in the Lord.
I can't believe this. What is all this?
You do believe. That is why she came. And that is why you shall witness her miracle for yourself today. The Weeping Madonna came to me in a faraway land named Africa. A baptized Saracen was her former guardian, and I and the custodians of the Holy Virgin were chosen to take her on a journey.
Baptized?
Из какой вы страны?
A Saracen? What country did you say you came from?
We have traveled all the way from a place of wonders too marvelous to behold. The faraway land of Africa.
Africa has many countries, I've heard.
Yes, it does. I knew not her powers or destination.
Какова же Африка?
Nevertheless, I carried her for many miles. Many bore witness to her miracle.
И какова же Африка?
It dawned upon me.
What's it like in Africa?
The sun is always shining, and miracles happen every day. It's a land of great deserts, fig trees, and creatures that an Englishman can't even dream up.
Like these horses. Are they horses?
They are not. To you, they might resemble horses, but the name the Africans have for these creatures is impossible to pronounce, even for me. But I wondered, what shrine should be her shelter?
А что такое смоковница?
This time, it was the Madonna herself who answered my questions.
You mentioned there were fig trees in Africa. What are they?
It's a fruit, of course. It looks like a strawberry and tastes like a pear.
The scripture mentions these figs, and they sound nothing like that. Why is that?
No two apples look or taste alike. The same goes for figs, and doubly so.
I'm getting the impression that this man has never even been to Africa. Why would he lie?
She said, "You shall build me a new church in Kingsbridge." So we set off, with the blessing of Archbishop Theobald of Canterbury.
Барды.
And along the road,
Алтарь.
from Paris, across Normandy, over the sea, and all the way to Kingsbridge. Devout Christians have given money.
Монахи-чужеземцы. Никогда их раньше не видел, прежде. Вот одежда знакомая. Должно быть, это часть процессии.
Kingsbridge. The Weeping Madonna has chosen you.
Tell me the truth. Why are you here?
We are guardians of the Holy Virgin that sheds tears. We were appointed by the Archbishop of Canterbury, but it was the Holy Virgin herself who chose us while she travelled through Europe.
Oh, yes. How did that happen?
She speaks without words.
All of you.
So you're telling me this is a real miracle?
A miracle, a blessing, a wonder.
You heard me correctly.
Зрители. Их глаза так и светятся надеждой. Их уже убедили. Это может быть опасно.
The Weeping Madonna came to me in a faraway land named Africa.
My dear people.
Oh, I'm so excited to see a true miracle.
Did you hear that? The Madonna has chosen us.
She's come all the way from Africa.
A baptized Saracen.
Please, everyone.
Shh! We want to listen to his story.
And I and the custodians of the Holy
Ремигий.
Virgin were chosen.
В это он тоже не верит. Вечный противник всего нового. И всего, что я предлагаю. Мэри, бедная Мэри. Она молчит уже много лет. Стал немой с тех пор, как овдовела.
You don't need to be here, if it's too loud for you.
Зрители. Странные животные. Чудные у них животные. С двумя гробами на спине. Неужели верблюды? Это на лошади нацепили. Зачем они нацепили?
Hollow. Feels like a wicker basket covered in pelt.
Жонглер. Павлиньи перья. Разве в Африке водятся павлины?
Do you speak English?
No English, no campandare, no.
Oh, what's this? I think you might have stepped into horse dung.
What? Where?
No English, is it?
Just un poco, si.
Could you talk to this man, Martha?
Yes, it's strange. He was quite talkative just a moment ago. He told me he was from Damascus in Africa.
Isn't Damascus in Arabia?
There's one in Africa too, I'm sure.
Why are you pretending you can't speak English?
No inglese. Ah, malada, malada.
Марта. Вид у нее вполне довольный и любопытный. Она не слишком наивна.
Have they revealed the miracle yet?
Not yet.
The weeping Madonna has chosen you.
Собор. Не сейчас. Джонатан. Такой доверчивый мальчик. Может быть, даже слишком доверчивый. Его легко убедить в чем угодно.
Jonathan?
They're about to show the miracle. Look.
In the beginning, I was not. I only
Did you hear what he
had
said?
faith.
What is this place? Africa.
I knew not.
He's too excited. I don't like this.
Ремги, давай поговорим.
Brother Reynold. I've heard of a Reynold from the coast. A scheming drunkard who lives as a traveling monk.
You think that's him?
Perhaps it is, perhaps it's not. I don't trust him either way.
You heard me correctly. It was a long
I don't like this.
journey.
There's something fishy about him.
The weeping Madonna
Remigius thinks
came
this
to
is
me in a
suspicious.
faraway land
This time, he
named
might be
Africa.
right.
A baptized Saracen was her former guardian. And I and the
Так, ну все, у
custodians of
нас
the Holy
больше
Virgin were chosen to take
задняя
our
сторона
journey.
телеги. Что?
A Saracen? I could have continued
Я
to carry
выглядывает.
her from town to town until
Малыш.
my flesh
Что он здесь делает? Я его не знаю. И все же у него есть что-то знакомое. Что...
But I wondered, what shrine
Обшивка.
would you be
Под
her
гобеленом
This time it was the Madonna
скрывается белая
herself who
обшивка
answered
из
my
очень
questions.
простой ткани.
Now,
Бок.
brothers and
Дерево
sisters,
на вид старое и потрепанное. Спереди
I have
этого не видно.
that life has not been kind to Kingsbridge, but it is in
Давай,
places
выглядывай.
like these, and in dark times like these, that God's light shines bright.
Спросить, как его зовут.
I am Philip.
And
Who are you,
along
young
the
man?
road, from Paris, across Normandy,
Спросить, зачем он прячется.
over the sea,
Why are you hiding?
and all the way to Kingsbridge. Devout
Занавеси.
That's not fit for a shrine.
building of the church of the weeping
Старое
Madonna.
тряпье заметно отличается от передней стороны.
This
Nothing sacred about this.
of Kingsbridge. You must wonder, why was Kingsbridge chosen to be the home of the She said, "You shall build me a new..." Can you feel it? Brothers and sisters, you are about to witness a miracle. The Madonna knows how you have
Возможно,
suffered.
зря
The Virgin
этих
Mother
еще
had to
типа бардов
witness
посмотрел.
the
Ну ладно,
rise
ничего
and
страшного.
fall of her son, our Lord Jesus Christ, and never stopped believing. Kingsbridge has endured many hardships. Prior James left you before his time when you needed him the most. Your old cathedral was burned to the ground.
How do you know this?
And your new one collapsed even before construction was finished. You have suffered the ruthless destruction of your market, homes, and lives.
Dada.
All of you have lost husbands, wives, and children, family and friends.
Dada.
All of you know how it is to be hungry and afraid.
Jack. Aliena.
Philip.
But this is...
A miracle, isn't it? Or something along those lines.
But how?
We thought it was time to give Tommy a home.
The boy? Your boy?
Well, Philip? Do you recognize him? Our little Tommy?
Tommy? But...
Где вы были?
It's been almost 3 years since I last saw you, Jack. Where on earth did you find him?
I'd almost given up looking for him. Then Tommy found him.
And you decided to come back?
Well, this is our home, after all.
Then what on earth is all this? This miracle?
With the Madonna, we were able to collect donations for your priory and for Kingsbridge.
Really?
We can start anew. We can rebuild the cathedral.
What's the catch?
I'll get to be Master Builder.
Why?
I've studied the cathedrals, churches, and houses they build in France and Spain. I saw how different their constructions were, with new shapes, colors, and ideas. Oh, you should have seen it. They combined rib vaulting and pointed arches. I want to do that. That's why.
Why here?
Because this is home.
На собор все равно не хватит денег.
The townspeople probably think that's enough to build a whole cathedral. But to me, it looks like about £100. You know, that won't even pay for a year's work.
Like all of this, it's a symbol. Enough for a fresh start.
And the Madonna will stay here. Kingsbridge will attract visitors and donations again.
You mean I should be thankful for these lies and tricks?
Jack! Aliena! You came back!
We wanted to see you, little sister.
How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. But look at you! And the little one!
Tommy.
How are the others?
Alfred left Kingsbridge. Richard shows up every now and then, and Ellen returned to the forest.
We need to visit her.
Father lives with her now.
What's wrong, Mother?
I'm glad you're back.
I am too. Very glad.
She looks like she's about to cry. She will weep for your suffering, Kingsbridge. She knows your pain.
What now?
The miracle!
Her eyes are wet.
Her eyes!
Look at her.
They're shining!
She cannot hold her tears any longer.
She is made of wood. It's impossible.
Why are you weeping?
She's mute ever since her husband died.
The Madonna has suffered as I have. She understands.
It seems through her faith in all of your lies, Mary has found a miracle. We can't keep trying to repair Kingsbridge by ourselves. Things are not improving. We're struggling to keep things as they are.
But we can't afford to hire help.
Without farming and fairs, we're back to Prior James's time.
All these past years, my advice was good enough for you. But it appears you've changed your mind now, again.
It is time we started doing something to wake up and make Kingsbridge what it used to be. We did before, and we can do it again.
I'm not willing to accept a risk like that. Don't you remember what happened last time? My, how easily we forget.
I remember well.
And still, you put your trust into a group of random strangers to make things better. Philip, why in God's name have you stood by and let this happen? They're tricking us into giving them money for false idols.
They are giving us money.
So that we'll place this idol in our priory? Do you approve of this?
Не одобрять обман, одобрить обман. Ну, давай одобрим, наверное.
People need hope, and these travelers are giving them hope. Yes, it is a deception, but with good intentions. Mary speaks again. Is that not a true miracle?
You fell for them. You really did. And now you joyfully take part in their deceptions. I'm warning you. I cannot support a prior who tolerates heresy.
Your threat won't sway me. No matter how unconventional, their return and their gift are a blessing.
You made your decision, Philip of Gwynedd. And now, I make mine. I resign. I'm leaving the Priory.
You got so big, Tommy. And you're just as shy as your father was.
Don't let him fool you. Usually, he's always up to something.
We are so proud of you. Of both of you.
Is she still here?
Hmm?
Your wife, Agnes?
No. Ellen and Martha moved her to Kingsbridge. She got a proper burial this time.
Will you come back with us too?
Would you want that?
Yes. I need your help with the cathedral. Philip and I have big plans.
We'll come.
Ellen, we found Jack's family in Cherbourg.
The place he came from wasn't Cherbourg, it was Cherbourg.
But... really? What were they like?
They were good people.
His grandmother said Jack looked just like him, like his father.
He does. But they never came for him or asked about him.
They thought he was dead. His ship sunk. He'd always wanted to go to England.
Have you ever heard of the White Ship?
No.
The king's family drowned.
My father was there. He was the only one who survived.
Not for long.
You told me that he was accused of stealing a chalice.
Yes. But I know he was innocent. I heard the story and had to find out what he looked like. He told me his name. I fell in love. I helped him escape. But in the end, they caught up with us.
What happened then?
They hanged him. I was there. And you were there, Jack. But you weren't born yet. He was led to the gallows. Everyone was quiet. The people somehow knew he was not a thief. But I knew for sure. He told me. He was so afraid. He didn't want to die. I didn't want him to die. And I prayed. Then I heard his voice. Quiet.
Sang sweeter than ever, as if the falling melody might wing and net dissever. At dusk the hunter took his prey, the lark his freedom net.
No! No!
You said that 3 men were responsible for Father's death.
Who were they?
The Sheriff of Shiring, Percy Hamley, Prior James of Kingsbridge, and Archdeacon Waileran Bygod. They showed no mercy. Neither did I.
I curse you! All of you! He will return to haunt you! One day, you will be judged for what you did. Your houses shall be consumed by fire. Your life shall end in pain and agony. you shall grow old
Ну,
in
двоих уже нет.
sadness and regret.
Двоих уже нет. Ну, после таких высказаний как раз-таки подумали, что она ведьма. Понятно,
The
очевидно.
people they killed will return to haunt them. I promised them.
We welcome our new prior, Remigius. He helped to recover the bones of the Saint of Kingsbridge, Adolphus, from the hands of thieves. Adolphus already rests safely in this great cathedral of Shiring. Our master builder Alfred promised me that it will only be a matter of a few years until the cathedral will be finished. And the Earl of Shiring has promised to support us. But he has not done so for himself. No, the Earl is not a selfish man. His mother, Lady Hamley, is sick. More and more, I feel the whole of England is suffering from a sickness. The sickness of war, poverty, and most of all, heathen beliefs. I have spoken to God. I asked him, begged him to walk amongst us, to heal us. But God told me that only when this great cathedral is finished will he have a temple to reside in. No matter the cost, this shall be a towering castle to protect us from evil and false beliefs. With this cathedral, we will bring an end to the dark times.
Waileran, by God!
Jack? What are you doing here?
My father died by your hands, Waileran. His name was Jacques Cherbourg.
How dare you talk to the bishop like that?
He died right here!
Who are you?
I know that man. He's that bastard from Kingsbridge.
That man is my husband.
You?
All of you, listen to what we have to say. From now on, Kingsbridge is protected.
By our knights, by our walls, and by the word of the king.
So whatever you do, we will defend our town, our market and Fulling Mills.
And our cathedral, which we shall rebuild. All workers are invited to come and work for us.
Oh, preposterous.
If you so much as try to bring harm to us, Bishop, we will make sure that you pay for everything you did.
Глава 16. Дом. Произошедшие события. Вы помогли Джонатану посадить дерево. Вы провели первую проповедь за долгое время. Вы одобрили обман, потому что Богородица дает людям надежду. Алиена и Джек вернулись в Кингсбридж. Глава 17. Буря. Что-то мне не особо нравится. Как будто 1134, 11 лет спустя. Что?
It had been 3 years. 3 years of drought.
3 года засухи.
3 years of hunger and poverty.
Жесть.
England was brought to its knees.
Они отстроили стены вокруг.
Only our walls had kept us safe from the bands of outlaws raiding towns and villages. Bishop Waileran and William Hamley forced the workers to finish their cathedral in Shiring. Many had died.
Да, блядь, 11
The work on our
лет.
own cathedral had almost come to a halt.
11 лет.
4 weeks the storm had raged on. It was then that our cathedral gave up its last secret.
Так. Опять трещина в том же месте. Угу. Понятно.
And everything changed.
Жесть. Кладбище выросло, конечно, да.
Tom! I told you you wouldn't like the sight of this.
It looks bad. But it's not the wall I'm worried about. It's good you sent the workers home during the storm. Now do us all a favor and do the same. Go home. Your children hardly get to see you. Tommy and Sally have been asking about you all morning.
Семья Лены и Джека. Изучить. Семья Джека и Лены. 1154. Ну вот 54. Там, видимо, ошибка была, опечатка. Не 34, а 54. С тех пор, как Ричард и Джек пообещали Уоллерану защитить Кингсбридж, они потратили много времени на укрепление города. С тех пор Уильям не решался отковать снова. Алиен продолжал торговать шерстью и ведет дела в основном за пределами Ширинга. Большая часть шерсти, которую он торгует, производится в Кингсбридже, где Джек построил две валяльные мастерские. У Алиена и Джек 2 детей, Томми уже 12, 6, и его младшей сестре Салли 9. Марта приглядывает за обоими, пока Джек и Алиена работают. Понятно, все.
You'll kill yourself up here.
That crack down there must have been due to the storm. If the storm works, I work.
My cathedral was never designed to be this high.
I know. I reinforced the walls. It cannot be the height.
What else was damaged? I'd look myself, but I dare not come closer. If your mother knew I was up here at all, she'd kill me.
Both of us.
What?
She would kill both of us.
Восточная стена вот-вот рухнет. Почему? В чем же причина? Блять, надо спуститься в крипту. Там стена это, инструменты. Молоток из зубила. Берем. Взять. Ебать, я... Да ебит вашу мать. Что же это такое?
If we don't find out what's causing this, then the whole east wall will come down. The storm is making it worse.
You're right. What about Aliena?
She should be on her way back from Winchester now.
Oh, I hope she's all right in this.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Буря. Она бушует уже несколько недель. Ветер ревет и песок летит в лицо. Надеюсь, Лены ничего не случилось.
One day, people will fly, like birds, sailing on the wind. Rashid told me.
Sure. Until then, stay away from the edge.
I'd better be careful up here.
Стена. Неизвестно, сколько она продержится. Отсюда смотрится не так безнадежно. Огромные трещины во всю высоту.
No. I don't want to break more stones loose.
Своды. Маленькая трещина. Может, свод непрочный. И это он давит на стену и приводит к трещинам.
The vaulting is cracked. This could be a problem.
Деревянные балки. С первого взгляда с ними все в полном порядке. Северная и южная стены обеспечивают устойчивость. Слава богу. Так.
The roof looks all right.
Том. Он никогда не говорит об Альфреде. Я вижу, что он думает про него. Интересно, увидим мы когда-нибудь его собор изнутри.
Are you all right? Climbing up here isn't as easy as it used to be.
Yeah. Do you want to take a break?
I'm fine. Better watch out for yourself. Wouldn't want to see the wind pushing you over the edge there.
I'm fat enough to be safe, don't worry.
Чё, надо спускаться.
He says he's all right. I better focus on our problem.
Уйти с крыши. Давай уходи тоже, блядь. Стоит он тут.
I'm not done here yet.
Что? А что ты хочешь сделать? Ты же ведь не хочешь молотком постучать по сводам?
Now's not the time to fix this. First, I need to find out what caused all. If I make it worse, then we'll at least know what the problem is.
You're probably right.
Сейчас как пизданется все нахуй.
All right. One more time.
Я думаю, если я что-то неправильно сделал бы, я просто...
What happened?
Сколько
If the
тут
vaulting
метров?
were
Блин?
unstable, this part should have collapsed and the wall would retract.
So, the cause of our problem is not up here?
No.
When we erected the eastern wall 17 years ago, there was also a crack. No matter what we did, it always came back. Remember?
Yes. Yeah, I remember.
Фундамент.
But this is not the same wall. We rebuilt it.
Still, could the cause not have been the same in both cases?
Maybe.
Крипта.
The crypt!
Huh. How kept the whole foundation there as it was?
But it never had to carry this much weight before.
You're right. If the cause of our problem is down there, we'll find it. You go ahead.
Don't you need help?
I'll manage. Just don't tell your mother.
Are you sure?
Go on. I know you can't wait to get down there.
Neither can you. I'll just take a quick look and wait for you.
They were enraged.
Oh, Jonathan.
Bishop Henry thinks that the Pope should hear about what you wrote.
I think so too. I would be
Кстати,
honored if
дерево
you read
выросло.
my book.
Philip, I really am worried about you.
There is no need for you to worry, Jonathan. It is just...
Блин, какой же Филипп старый стал, жесть.
The problem is that the people love your sermons and what you wrote, even though most of them can't read. Your book is being copied in priories all over England.
Is that not a good thing?
Как
If our
же
message gives
Джонатан
people hope?
похож на Альфреда.
In desperate times, hope can be a powerful force.
That is very true.
Well, I fear the bishops. They might come to believe you took that power from them.
Huh? Do you?
Вторая книга Филиппа. Божественная душа. Изучить. Божественная душа. Книга, написанная Филиппом в 1148 году. В своей книге Филипп высказывает предположение, что поскольку Бог создал человека, каждый из нас носит в себе божественную искру. И хотя порой нам кажется, что Бог покинул нас, на самом деле Бог ближе нам, чем кто-либо другой, поскольку наша душа имеет божественную сущность. Это означает, что мы не должны сидеть и ждать спасения извне, но можем изменить мир вокруг нас своими силами. Мы можем посадить семя, а Бог, в свою очередь, поможет ему расти. Философия Филиппа распространилась по всей Англии и даже по другим частям Европы, но церковь жестко критикует этот текст. В своей первой книге Филипп критиковал только фальшивые чудеса. Теперь же он заявляет, что все люди одинаково божественны, соответственно, представители духовенства обладают не большей божественностью, чем любой другой человек.
Jack!
Have you been atop the cathedral during the storm?
Don't worry, Philip. The storm isn't as bad up there. Jonathan, did you and the others come directly from Winchester?
Yes, we did.
What about Aliena?
She stayed a day longer for the Fleece Fair. She should be on her way back now.
In this storm?
We didn't expect it to get worse.
No one did.
I am sure she'll be alright.
I need to go. I think I know why the east wall is unstable.
Yes? Why is that?
I'm not sure, but I think the answer lies down in the crypt. I should hurry before it's too late.
Джонатан скоро станет помощником приора. Ведь он до сих пор не знает, кто его отец. Жесть. Филипп. Люди так и стекаются послушать его проповеди. В книге он честно изложил свои мысли. Он нашел свою правду.
I think I know what caused the problems we have with the East Wall.
Wonderful. You know, I just realized that the crack in the wall reminds me of the one that the old cathedral had.
The one that burned down?
Yes. I only noticed it when I visited after Prior James died.
It wasn't there before then?
No. I remember that I thought the crack looked like a finger, pointing at the sinners of Kingsbridge.
A grim thought.
I was not happy with the state of Kingsbridge back then. I admit that.
No, I better have a look at the crypts now. Jonathan is probably right. Aliena will be fine. Still, I'd feel better if she was here with us. That's not the way to the crypt.
Так я понимаю.
No, not before I find out what's making my...
Мне только вариант туда двигаться, окей. Жесть, ты посмотри, просто вообще жесть. Стройплощадка. Том говорил, что собор невозможно достроить. Теперь я понимаю, что он имел в виду. Трещина. Точно над криптой. Причина наверняка в ней. Но что могло привести к появлению такой трещины? Да ты сам помни. Типа... Находил вот эту пустоту там. Уж мне дождаться Тома. Блять, я надеюсь, что он не ёбнется там.
Now it's down here too.
Вот.
The first cracks are showing.
Да.
That means we were right. The cause of the instability must be down here.
The ground.
Could be.
The drought could have made it worse.
We'll find out.
Том, как хорошо, что здесь он со мной. Без Альфреда мы с ним замечательно ладим. И все же печально, что он лишился еще одного сына. Реликвия. Эту статую мне подарил Рашид. Она бы привлекла сюда не меньше людей, чем мощи святого Адольфа, если бы не засуха и не буря.
Do you want to work on this one?
Go ahead. I need some time to catch my breath. Don't look at me like that. I'm fine.
If he thinks he's all right, then he's all right. Rashid was right. People love to believe in miracles. But the reason most people come to Kingsbridge now is for Philip's sermons.
He tells them what they need to hear. He gives them hope. Do you know what's going on here, Mary?
Так, ну что ж, трещина. Вот и ты. И что же ты делаешь в самой нижней части стены? Отвечай-ка.
That definitely wasn't here before.
It wasn't.
Time to get to work. If I widen the crack, I might find out what caused it.
Так, давай расширять.
If there's dry sand behind there, we know it's the ground.
Just be careful when you work on that wall.
Да, это уж точно, блядь. Сейчас как
If it's
пизда
the
не
ground
рухнется,
and the
всё.
foundation, the whole wall could cave in.
Ой-ой-ой-ой. Сейчас кутаешечка, да? Хоп. Хоп. Да,
Here we go.
блин.
But what?
I think I can feel a draft.
Что?
One more time.
А, ну да, все правильно, да. Там же типа пустоту он ощущал тогда.
Jack, watch out!
It's all right.
What is it?
Ну.
Dear God. These stones, they've been removed before.
The mortar is missing on most of them.
Ну да.
Whoever put them back just added some mortar on top of the stones to hide the fact that they were removed. The tile at the bottom was completely loose.
What does that mean?
Поэтому
I
и так и
think
было.
it was an entrance.
An entrance? To where?
That's what we'll find out.
В ад. Прямиком в ад.
Careful now. You've got the whole east wall on top of you. Jack?
Jack?
I'm all right. I just hit my head. It's dark in here. There's a whole room here.
A chamber.
What's that?
I'll get a torch.
Philip, I'll get it. You stay here.
Что же скрывается в этой комнате? Песок. Сколько же тут песка? Похоже, часть комнаты обрушилась. Поэтому и стена начала трескаться. Гроб? Длинная штука. Похоже на гроб. Веник. Что это такое? Похоже на веник. Деревянный кубок для воды. По крайней мере, кажется, что так.
That's not wood. It's metal. Gold, even.
Это тот самый кубок, за который
Maybe
типа
Philip
могли
knows what this is.
казнить его отца, веник.
It's made of leather. It's a whip. What is that doing here?
Плетка.
What's a whip doing here?
Jonathan, we need the torch.
Гроб.
Is that a coffin? Oh, there's sand everywhere. Uh-huh. It's a bed.
What?
There's a bed in here.
What? Jonathan, we need that torch.
I have the torch.
All right, come in here. Should be safe.
Yes. Did you know about this place?
No. No, I did not. I've seen this chalice before, when I was very young. It's the chalice of the Eucharist from Kingsbridge Cathedral.
Говорят, этот кубок украл мой отец. Взять.
Cuthbert told me about it. They said it was stolen.
And melted down, I know. Mother told me. They also said it was my father who did it.
Did they?
Получается,
So he's innocent then?
He must be.
And whoever hid the chalice is responsible for his death. They hanged him in Shiring for stealing this chalice. But it was here all along.
That scourge. The whip. It belonged to Prior James. I was afraid of it when I first visited Kingsbridge with Francis and Abbot Peter. Even the look of it scared me.
James. Maybe it was him. I think I saw him during the night of the fire in the cathedral. When the old cathedral burned down. There was a man in the fire. His shoulders were bloody, as if he had chastised himself.
It is you! By God and the devil!
He told me that he had sinned, that he had done something to me. Perhaps because I looked like my father.
So he confessed for framing your father while he hid the cup here?
But it couldn't have been James you saw. James died weeks before the fire.
Did he? You said they never found his body. Maybe he hid down here. Maybe that's why the bed's here.
Wait. Jack, you were in the burning cathedral. What were you doing there?
Сознаться в поджоге собора? Блин, давай.
And then I told Philip what I had done. He just looked at me. Didn't say anything.
Плеть приора Джеймса изучить. Плеть приора Джеймса, найденная Филиппом в 1154 году. Будучи ребенком, Филипп боялся плети Джеймса. Впервые он увидел ее, когда вместе с аббатом Питером, который воспитал его и Фрэнсиса после гибели их родителей, приезжал в Кингсбридж. Спустя годы Джеймс решил, что Филипп к тому времени уже молодой человек, уже вполне способен вести собственный приорат в лесной обители святого Иоанна. Каждый раз, когда Филипп бывал в родном соборе в Кингсбридже, он вспоминал о дне, когда впервые увидел плеть. Аббату Питеру никогда не нравилась идея, что боль может привести к спасению, но приор Джеймс верил, что самоистязание – это единственный способ очистить душу от греховного влечения плоти. После того, как Джек сказал Филиппу, что приор Джеймс был жив в тот день, когда сгорел собор, Филипп вспомнил, что за несколько недель до этого хор не решался петь, поскольку слышал, как кто-то истязает себя в крипте. Было дело. Может быть, он действительно слышал Джеймса. Может быть, Джеймс правда прятался в тайной комнате в крипте. Но почему? Тем временем в Эрлскасле. Так, наверное, сейчас буду заканчивать. Ебать. Что-то подрастолстел, да?
What do you want? Do you think it is wise to resign yourself to gluttony at times like these, while your people starve on the streets of Shiring?
Don't play the saint. You promise them miracles, and you make them pay. But your miracles never work out, do they?
God works in ways that we cannot comprehend.
My mother cannot walk. You failed. Again. What do you want?
I came about a book.
The Bible again?
No. Philip of Gwynedd wrote it. And the church is displeased. Bishop Henry was enraged. This is our chance, William.
Your chance, you mean? If you need forces, talk to Walter or Ugly. I don't care. I built your fucking cathedral. I'm done.
It's not just about Philip. It's about Aliena and her family.
Don't mention that name.
But have you not heard? King Stephen and Maud's son just signed a peace treaty.
Ничего себе.
I don't care.
You should care.
I said I don't. Now leave, and don't come back unless I ask for you. Where's my wife?
They've not returned yet, Lord William.
Then get me a whore! Now!
Окончание войны изучить. Окончание войны и Уоллингфордский договор, 1154 год. Спустя 15 лет войны между Стефаном и Мод Англия была раздроблена больше, чем когда-либо. После финального сражения у Уоллингфорда сын императрицы Мод Генрих II и Стефан договорились о перемирии. Позднее договор был подписан в Винчестере и Вестминстере. Согласно договору, Стефан останется королем до своей смерти, а затем трон унаследует Генрих II. Также в договоре говорилось о том, что все решения относительно земель, принятые Стефаном, отменяются, а земли возвращают свой статус времен правления Генриха I. Это означало, что графство Ширинг снова принадлежал наследникам Бартоломью, а не Хамлеям. Но кто решится выступить против Уильяма Хамлея? Да, в то же время где-то далеко. О, пиздует, блядь. Скорелось, блядь. Что-то она вообще в одиночку. Ладно, так, я сейчас... Давай, сохранение. Бам. Сохранить, да. Все. Пока что на этом хорош, я думаю. Всем спасибо за просмотр и всем пока.